Welcome to Nightmare Narratives. If you like real horror stories like us, please subscribe and like the video. Enjoy. Grocery Store Encounter. It was a quiet evening at King Colon, a local grocery store in our peaceful town. I, a 39-year-old woman, found myself frantically trying to complete my shopping. My husband worked at a tech company, and our 3 kids, aged 10, 7, and 3, had voracious appetites, which meant frequent grocery runs. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I realized I was running behind schedule, and my husband was home for once to watch the kids. This rare opportunity allowed me the luxury of solo shopping. Grabbing my flyers and coupons, I hastened to the store. The King Colon was nearly empty at this late hour, and I began filling my cart with items from my list and anything on sale. While I was navigating the cereal aisle, I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned to find a man about my height with a baseball cap, black t-shirt, red hoodie, and jeans, looking for a specific bag of chips in my cart. I kindly directed him to the aisle, and he thanked me with breath that could stop a train. He struck up a conversation, discussing trivial details about the chips, all while I inched my way back to my cart. Finally, I managed to convey my desire to shop in peace, and he seemed to get the hint, walking away. However, the unease was far from over. Throughout my time in the store, I kept seeing the same man circling the aisles. Every time he walked past my aisle, he'd slow down or stop, gazing down at me. My discomfort grew, and I hurried to complete my shopping. At the checkout, the man with the red hoodie stood right behind me with just 2 or 3 items. His gaze remained fixed on me. As I loaded my car, I noticed the red hoodie guy sitting in his worn-out Honda nearby, still watching me. I eventually drove home, thinking I had escaped his gaze. It wasn't until I pulled into my driveway that I noticed his car with the headlights off, slowly approaching our house. My husband's intervention and a baseball bat chase sent the man fleeing. We called the police and an officer arrived promptly. Still, the memory of that unsettling encounter lingered, knowing that this stranger had found his way to our doorstep. Night restock worker. I worked as a night restock worker at the Great American, the best supermarket in our somewhat rural town. My shift began as soon as the store closed at 10 p.m. and ended around 3 a.m. It was my responsibility to restock the shelves and ensure everything was organized for the next day. That night, I was supposed to work alongside Terry Carter. I arrived at the store and let myself in through the back entrance, ready to begin my tasks. The night began quietly as I used the pallet jack to transport boxes to the shopping floor. I started in the bread and nuts aisle, carefully rotating the loaves. An hour passed, and I noticed that Terry had not shown up yet. I walked to the back area of the store, where we typically left our belongings, but there was no sign of him. I had left the back door slightly ajar for him when he arrived, but now it was closed. I called Terry, and he picked up the phone, sounding as if he were in bed. He claimed he was sick and wasn't coming in tonight. My unease grew as I realized that someone else had tampered with the back door. Still, I decided to investigate, cautiously checking for any intruders. I didn't find anyone in the back, so I decided to continue my work. However, the eerie feeling persisted. As I worked on the bread aisle, I heard a loud noise echoing from across the shopping floor, startling me. My heart raced, and I realized someone else was in the store. I walked down the central aisle and suddenly saw a man dressed in black in the dairy aisle on the opposite side. He looked directly at me and started to walk in my direction. I shouted, "Excuse me," but received no response. The man continued down the aisle and disappeared behind a shelf. I called out again and started to move closer, but he reappeared in a different aisle, repeating his menacing game. I hurriedly reported the intruder to my boss, who advised me to remove him or call the police. Afraid to confront the strange man alone, I dialed 911 and waited in my car. The police arrived and apprehended the man, who had a menacing smile and eerie behavior. I continued my work, more cautious than ever, vowing to never leave the doors open again. In a surprising twist weeks later, it was revealed that the mysterious man had been involved in a series of bizarre supermarket intrusions across the state, leaving workers and customers feeling uneasy. His strange behavior continued to baffle law enforcement, sparking numerous rumors and theories about his motives. Overnight shift at a supermarket. During my college years, I found myself working at the local wall-bound supermarket. It was a 24-hour store, and although I thought I would never have to work the dreaded overnight shift, my boss had other plans. When she saw my availability on Mondays and Wednesdays, she scheduled me for a Tuesday night from midnight to 8 a.m. Arriving at the store, I prepared to face a long night of restocking shelves and organizing. As I began my work in the quiet aisles, I couldn't help but wonder about the absence of my colleague, Terry Carter. Half an hour into my shift, I realized Terry was nowhere to be seen. Concerned, I went to the back area where we usually left our belongings, but found no sign of him. As I checked the back door, it was oddly shut, and the door stopper was outside. Puzzled by this, I gave Terry a call, only to find him still in bed, claiming he was sick. My unease grew as I suspected someone had tampered with the door. I decided to make a quick check through the store, and it was during this exploration that I heard a loud noise echo through the empty aisles. I soon discovered that I was not alone. A man dressed in black walked past, seemingly playing a game of hide and seek. I called out to him, but he remained silent. He kept appearing and disappearing, and his eerie, menacing smile sent shivers down my spine. I called my boss, who suggested I remove the intruder or call the police. Not daring to confront the stranger, I opted for the latter. I remained in my car while I waited for the police to arrive, watching as they took the man into custody. The encounter left me unsettled, and I resolved never to leave any of the doors open during my shift again.